Hello, and welcome to round 3 of the Race to the Underground series. And yeah, it's been action-packed thus far. The racing has been absolutely incredible. And today we are back in Watopia to hit up the Muir and the Mountain course. So for those that don't know, the Muir and the Mountain is... we start off a little bit outside of the Titans Grove. We're going to head through there. We're going to head up the little Titans Grove Com. Don't expect to see much action there. But then we head on to the Epic Com, which is where I expect most of the action is going to be. It'll be a quick descent. It'll be interesting to see how the teams manage to handle that descent. Of course, we're going up to the radio tower, so that is going to be another tricky part of the course. Some of the riders here did this exact course almost a week ago when we did the chase race. So there are some of the Canyon guys, some of the Misfit guys who will know this course quite well, and they'll know how horrendous it will be. It will be a lot easier for the Canyon guys tonight because they are not having to chase. So the Misfits had a 2-minute start, and it was a serious team time trial. So this will be a lot easier for the guys. And yeah, so then it will be a fast race down, and then it will actually finish back on the Titans Grove Com. And as you can see, everyone is lined up on one side of the road, interestingly enough. It's a little bit ridiculous to do starts like this, but there you go. That's the setup you have in the meetup. So annoyingly for me, I should be at the front because I'm the leader of the event. But no, you can see I'm stuck right at the back. It makes no sense whatsoever, but there you go. Michal, Adam Coach has already given you a cheer on. He's the first one in there, giving you some props. Whether you're listening or not, there you go, straight in there. I like that. So we're going to start off as we always do with a neutralized start, which means I have to hop on the trainer and I have to lead them out for the first kilometer. It's steady going until the first kilometer. So I'm just going to remind everyone now. Okay, I'm going to hop on the trainer now, so it's going to be a little bit quiet for me for a few seconds, just while I get things going, and then I'll be back on the mic, quite hot and sweaty, I suspect. Oh, and the riders are off. Oh, I never like that start. Oh. There you go, Chris McGrinchley already going up the road. A few of the riders there. Very cheeky. Nipping ahead of the beacon. We'll let them off. There is a limit for how long you can go in front of the beacon. I don't think anyone really broke the 5-second rule. Maybe we'll see an action replay. Maybe the commissaires will get involved. But I suspect thus far, they'll deem it no foul play. You know how lenient they can be in these sorts of scenarios. So yeah. Chris McGlinchey going straight up the road. Not waiting for anyone. You could see that the Vitus guys, they were right on my tail. Yeah, he's just sat up a little bit, waiting for John Mole to come across to him. They've got a good little gap here. 3 seconds. But, you know, it's unlikely to hold. But the difference with this style of racing is that, you know, you can stay off the front for a little bit. You can get a bit of a breakaway. I know the Vitus guys have got a fully stacked team tonight. So they have got the numbers which perhaps they haven't had in previous occasions. Although, interestingly, saying that, but there's Joey Walker riding on the front here. So, but let's see. I presume these guys are going to be on Discord. You can just see them off in the distance. Great for John Mole to stick his nose in the window. And who better to do it with than Chris McGlinchey? Everybody else pretty happy to take it easy here. And I don't blame them. It's going to be a tough race. I think everybody knows the Epic Com is going to be where it's happening. Oh, there you go. Jerry Sutton. He surged to the front there, but I don't think he actually wants to bridge across. He doesn't want to bring anyone over with him. And everybody's quite close to jump on his wheel. And then you can see here, Dricot from the Misfits, from the Canyon Misfits. Now he is interested in getting a bit of a advantage. Maybe is he going to bridge over? I mean, if you look at this aerial shot here, you can see the gap now. It's gone out a bit, and it is getting a bit split up behind. And you can see Dricot he has got a gap here. McQueen also, Callum McQueen also from the Canyon Misfits, interested in bridging over. So excellent tactics here from the Misfits. And these guys, I don't think, are on Discord. So this was not premeditated. This was a completely natural reaction. But it looks like they planned it all along. So if these two can work together, they could bridge over and they could have a really good group dynamic if there's 4 of these guys together. And there's definitely enough road for them to do it. And you can see here, McQueen is not slouching. He's already at 183 beats per minute. He's putting out 6.9 watts per kilogram to bridge over. And it's tough. They're getting there, but for sure, let's just see what that gap is. It looks like it's about 6 seconds back to the main group now. So they can see them. I did have a feeling that perhaps the group was going to be a little bit bigger than that. So now they're on the climb officially, but obviously it does go up a little bit before then. Everybody else being sensible. If my former radio colleague Philip Diegner would be here, he would say they're being very vernünftig, and he would be right, because yeah, you want to save as much energy as possible in this scenario. But for sure, some of these young guys, it's a great opportunity for them to get their name out there and kind of show what they can do. I mean, they've got absolutely nothing to lose in this racing scenario, and it's awesome to see. Obviously, some of the young guys, some of the Canyon Misfits, are already getting their names out there. So they didn't quite manage to make the catch. It would have been really interesting if they had, but they're gonna go. They're gonna crest this climb pretty quickly. It does look like they are going to reel in John Mould and Chris McGlinchey. Not before the top, though. But I guess just as we bridge over it. Oh, look, see, a little bit of competitiveness. Just there's no mounting points on. You can just see the finish line. It's where those rocks are. Ollie Jones looking to steal a march. Is he going to do it? Ollie Jones going into the mountain jersey, the virtual mountain jersey. So he gets no points. I'm sorry, Ollie. You get nothing for that, other than some pride, some glory. And obviously people going, the fans are back at home. The whole of New Zealand right now will be going crazy after that. I love that when there's always like Tour de France race commentary whenever they're talking about anyone who's doing well, Tom Dumoulin, Jumbo-Visma. It's like everyone in the Netherlands is going mental. And I don't think that's really true. But in New Zealand, they definitely are going completely mental for Ollie Jones there. And he's got the matching socks. If he had actually been able to unlock the Titans Grove Comreverse jersey, because it's very, is it green or brown? Partially colorblind, so don't rely on me for that answer. But they would have gone with the socks, I think. So it's all back together. And yeah, they're back. In the other side of the Titans Grove, and it's going to be pretty plain sailing now until we get to the Epic Com. I can tell the guys here, Ollie. Ollie Jones with the non-existent jersey. So yeah, for those who are late joining us anyway, so we are doing the Muir and the Mountain course today, and yeah, this is definitely one for the climbers. So last week we were in New York, and we had the Astoria 8 line, I believe that's what it's called, which is very much one for the sprinters. Definitely, if you're racing in the Pro-Ams at the moment at the very top level, there's a real preference by the organisers to pick the hillier courses. So there aren't many options for the sprinters these days. So I wanted to try and make it a bit fairer. Brian Hodges did a fantastic job to smash that one and get a solid win for the Evoc team, who are out here in their numbers. They have got a full squad tonight. Which is awesome to see. I mean, they're doing pretty well in the leaderboard, so they're fully committed to this. And yeah, but it's going to be a tough one. There's guys that we know that can really climb. And Charlie Velez, actually from the Misfits, did an amazing job in the chase race. Ethan Brown as well, he's also in here tonight. He also did a fantastic job in that chase race. Can't remember whether he came third or fourth, but he did really well. So a couple of the Misfits, I think, ones to look out for. Chris McGlinchey, we know he can climb, as well a lot of his teammates. Yeah, I mean, the whole Evoc team here, they've got the numbers. I mean, they could really try and throw someone up the road early or sit in. They've got options, and for sure, John Mould's Mouldy Midnight Madness. I don't believe they got any points on the leaderboard just yet. So they will be looking to get something. Myself and John Mould, we were actually fighting over even Brown, but in the end, I got there first. So unfortunately, he had a bit of a Wi-Fi issue in the chase race that we did last week, so I wanted to offer him a chance to race for the Misfits this week, and so I'm really sorry, John Mould. I've stolen one. Oh, I stole back one of the riders for that team. So it'll be really interesting to see what he'll be able to do. So keep an eye out for Ethan Brown. He is in the blue Wahoo kit, which all of the Misfits are wearing, not the green kit of Moldy's Midnight Madness. If you have any questions, any comments, stick them in. I can see all of your messages coming in, at least on Twitch and YouTube. I don't think I'll be able to get them from Facebook. Possibly I will, if I'm streaming on Facebook. Anyway, all this time I've been talking, I've completely ignored the riders which have gone up the road. So let's just jump over and see where they are. So it's Patrick Valla and Joey Walker, an unlikely duo. But there you go. Just as I was busy talking about the Evoc guys and what they might do because they have the numbers, Patrick Valla's gone up the road and he's taken Joey Walker from Vitus with him. So here they are. They're just coming out of the Titan's Grove now, so you can just see what the gap is from the helicopter. It's going to be a tough one for them to hold it all the way, but let's see what they can do together. I mean, what they really need here is a couple of guys to launch over early, because that's going to be, if you're worried about how you're going to do on this climb, you might as well try and get a bit of a breakaway. Again, the pack in this kind of racing scenario, the pack is so much smaller and less strong as it would be in a normal Zwift race, where perhaps you've got like 30 riders, and you actually have an opportunity to get a bit of a breakaway. So yeah, it's going to be super interesting to see exactly how they can get on. I mean, it looks like they've got 12 seconds at the moment, which is a decent size, to be honest. Freddie Vella asks, will the dev team be a mix of all ages or just 23-year-olds? Wow, I mean, actually, I was going through all of the riders today, and there is a really broad mix. You'll be surprised, Freddie, how many 16-year-olds there are. I think there's more 16-year-olds in the group who have applied than any other age group. So yeah, do not be surprised if it's a really broad mix of ages. We've only just started the kind of assessment process, so I can't tell you what the ages will actually be. But I mean, Aiden Sinclair, he's the guy we got first, and he's 16 years old. So yeah, they are not all going to be 23 years old. I can promise you that. And as well, we want a few guys who are going to stay for a couple of years. And that's the plan, you know. It's not just you're in and then you're out. Hopefully we get some guys who really grab the opportunity and make the most of it, and yeah, can stay with the program for quite a while. If you're joining and if you're 23, then of course the maximum time you can stay is a year, you know. So and maybe we will have some 23-year-olds, but yeah, hard to say at the moment. So good question, Freddie. I know you put your name in the hat, which is great to see. Yeah, we had a lot of applicants, so just shy in total with the men and the women. There was just shy of 200 in total, so it's going to take a while to make our way through them all. So at the moment, we're just working on the short list, and then from there, it's going to be really tough, I think. To pick the final riders. Yeah, and I think when you've got that many people who have applied, you could fill the squad multiple times over. So anyway, back to the racing action again. Excellent question, Freddie. If you have any others, chuck them in. I'll happily answer them. Because I'm riding solo tonight. I do not have Philip Diegner with me to bounce off, and yeah, it's a bit of deja vu for me because we're back on Muir in the Mountain, and we were here on Wednesday with the chase race. I'm going to say the same thing that I said then, how badly engineered this bridge is, because it is 3%, and that seems like really bad. I do not have an engineering degree. I have a degree in fine art, and perhaps that gives me the artistic license, and perhaps there's some artists at Zwift who think you can have a bridge with an angle like that, and perhaps there are other engineering masterpieces out there which do have this kind of a slope to them, but I would imagine that most bridges are dead flat. Anyway, Charlie Velez, who we were talking about not that long ago, has just jumped on the front, and he did a cracking ride up here last week. So it's going to be interesting to see how he's going to go, and clearly wants to get his name out there again. Let's just jump and see. It's still got a bit of a gap, interestingly enough. Here you go. So there's these 3 riders together. You can see actually in the distance that there are a couple of riders who are already off the back here. And let's just jump back and just see who we've got here. So most of the guys are all in, doing pretty well. Okay, so we've got Neil Ostenfeld off the back. We've got Delu. And it looks like Odd Rostad, he's off the back. Moldy is also off the back. John Mold, what are you doing? 50 watts, lad. Come on. John, if you want to give up, if you want to hop on in the chat, I'm more than happy to have you with me whilst I cover the race. Look at these guys. They've all... And there's Jay Simmons in there. The team. Come on, guys. You can work together. You can time trial this all the way up. Everybody else is pretty much together. You can see that... you can see that they're just getting caught at the front here. But already we know this climb really well. We know that it's going to get really strung out here. So... oh, is that McQueen? Okay, he's determined to stay on there. He did do that little dig out the front. Yeah, it's basically... Oh, so Falk just falling off the back there. So McQueen... Yeah, it's vital that he sticks in the wheels here. Again, it's a long climb. You've got to go up the radio tower. It's not just going to the top of the climb. So if you manage to hang on all the way to there... then yeah, the radio tower is often the part that breaks everyone. So yeah, I always like to talk about this climb having 3 parts. Oh, excellent work in McQueen moving up. Perfect timing to get it round this corner. So it's basically 3 parts. You have this first bit which is quite steep and relatively steady, and then you head into the castle, and there's a dead flat bit. You go over these ancient cobbles. And I'm just going to jump ahead and just see who is up the front. There's this big group sticking together, quite sensible, I think. But some riders have already attacked. Alex West is there. Ollie Jones is there, and so is Thrall from Evok. So that's pretty good to see. It's great to see someone from Evok right up the front here with Ollie Jones. Yeah, see, they're going to ride up here. They're going to hit that cobbled section. Look, you can kind of see Ollie Jones. I don't think he wants to have Thrall on his wheel at all at this point. I think he's really just like, I want to shake him off. But I guess he's not going to kill himself. He knows this climb really well. Anyway, so we're going to get up to the castle. You go through the cobbled section where it flattens out. You power across, and then it's relatively mellow until you get to that tunneled section. Where it gets really steep, and then there's a small little descent. It gets a bit wavy, and then you're in the last section at this point. And then you can, there's a few little descents where you can recover before the final push to the top. But of course, the riders are going to be going up to the radio tower, so you have to have something in reserve if you want to go all the way. But you can see they've got a good gap here. It looks like they got 12 seconds by the looks of it back to Alex West. Who I know was really targeting this course tonight, or at least he was when we talked to him before he went to sleep and then woke up seconds before. Yeah, you can see he's rocking. Again, he's gone for the rim brake, disc brake combo. It's very popular in Zwift these days. Yeah, to have 2 braking options, so you can see very clearly here. Yeah, also very ballsy to have through axles. by the looks of it. It looks like he's got. It looks like he's got. No, he's got quick release. Sorry, he's got quick release with those. With those wheels, so he's got quick release disc brakes, but he's also got the rim brakes. Yeah, interestingly, he has opted for a traditional stem there, so he hasn't got the typical Canyon Aero stem by the looks of things. I don't know what's happened to that. It must be an issue with the fact that he's riding with the SRAM group set. Because it's the SRAM group set, because Westy here has got the ladies paint job. Questionable choice, but Alex West is not known for good fashion choices or music. We have to be very strict and control a lot of that part of his personality. We have to mask the public at large with a lot of that stuff, because honestly, his musical choices are horrendous. That's why I'm in charge of all music, and some people might not like the whole rave scene, but it works. It works. Speaking of which, well, there is a little bit of a. Here we are. There's a little bit just for Westy here. Right, he's on this cobbled section. There you go. He's pumped up 6 watts per kilo, hammering it across here. But he's with his teammate Leo Vyazin, right with him. Let's just see what's happening behind. Whoa, I did not realize they would have such a big gap when Leo bridged over. He clearly got bored of the rest of the group. Mikey Mottram here, you can see all of the other riders. They're not that far behind, which is great to see, but they've managed to stick together so well. And they've got the power in numbers. I don't think I've seen a race really where a group has managed to stay together quite so well, to be honest. So it does look like Mikey Mottram is going to get over to these two. And he's going to fly. I say fly. He's going right past them. Again, they're either going to want to just attack and get a big gap. Or they're just going to sit in here, because they know that their teammate Ollie Jones is up the road. Here he is. What's he done with Thrall? Nothing. I can't even see him, but look at him. He's like a ghost in the fog as he glides through. That's the problem when you get to this section. If you lose sight of someone, you can really lose them in this foggy, misty section. How's Thrall doing? And he's putting out a lot less watts here. He's down to 5 watts per kilo, as Ollie is still pumping out 6.2. Lino Vyazin and Alex West. I think they're going to catch Thrall here. There you go. This tune, Hallucination. And I think the guys are going to be hallucinating themselves, putting out these kind of watts.
Human reality. Human reality.
Adam Coach has asked me what. I'll turn the music down. I know that the music comes out a lot louder on the stream, I think, than it does in my monitor. Yeah, so another question with regards to the Zwift development. I know you said Zwift Academy by mistake. With the Canyon Esports development squad. So Adam was asking, what is it exactly that we are looking for? Let me just grab the chat again. Yeah, and I think It's a good question because it's not a really simple one to answer because we're looking at performance. I would say probably the most obvious one is potential. If I had to sum it up in one word, is potential. Which is not that easy to essentially figure out when you're not actually watching. Like, if you're picking a road team, then it's kind of easy to look at like race results or watch how someone races. And it's a little bit more difficult to do that in Zwift, so we are really relying on the information which was provided in the application form, and then also I think Zwift Power is probably the biggest source of actual information or race performance. And so people who applied, they provided all of their kind of information, like their performance data, and then also we asked them questions about why is it that they want to join the team, what is it that they're looking to get out of the experience, and we're also looking at that and seeing from a personality standpoint how well that has worked, because as well you got to try and get a group of riders who you think are kind of gel together and be able to work together. We're not looking necessarily just for the top guys. I say that's why the word potential is a really good one, because we're looking for riders who can use the experience to develop. And I'd say possibly the other element into it as well is like looking at people who might not necessarily always get the opportunity, and taking that into consideration as well. So if you're a rider in, I don't know, pick anywhere. If you're a rider in maybe South Africa or New Zealand, or Cuba, then you're not going to get the same opportunities as a rider potentially in Belgium or in the Netherlands. So that's not to say we're excluding people who have applied from Belgium and the Netherlands, because there are a few. But you take that into consideration. So you really look at all of the data points that we have to kind of figure out who's going to be the best fit. And as I said earlier, like we could fill this from all the applications, we could fill a squad multiple times over. So it's going to be super difficult. It's going to be X Factor level of difficult, I think. Not that I watch X Factor. I don't even know if it's still going. I digress. Anyway, excellent question, Adam Coach. I presume Adam is a coach, but perhaps Coach is his last name. You can clear that up on the chat, Adam. Meanwhile, Ollie Jones has got 40 seconds. Frul's actually now back in the main group. He's been, I guess, swallowed up by these riders. The gradient's pitching up here, so once you get to this section, it is going to flatten out, and there is a little descent before the final bit up to the Epicom line. If you look back, this group's not that far behind, and it's still full of riders. So what's going to be really interesting, if these guys can actually stick together up the radio tower, then they're going to have the advantage on the descent. So these guys, hopefully, I mean, if they can all hang in there, they should be talking to one another on the chat, because they could seriously close the gap if they manage to all stick together. So yeah, you guys, if you have the chance, chat to each other. It might even be worth, if you go up the radio tower a little bit quicker than some of your comrades, to hang together or wait up just for the descent, because you have the numerical advantage, and the gap now, jumping back, is only 15 seconds. I think you can make that up on the descent if you have enough riders. So here's the four riders. So these are the pursuants, the small chase group with Alex West, Lino Viasin, Thrall, and Mikey Mottram. There he is, just right on cue, jumping to the front. Ollie Jones, meanwhile, is time trialing it, and he's got what looks like about 40 seconds now. What is amazing is the fact that he's still pumping out 6.3, 6.4 watts per kilo, but his avatar does not show that level of stress. Again, Ollie Jones also going for the quick release, disc brake, and rim brake option for added stopping power, but he has the aerodynamic advantage because he's got that aero cockpit, which Alex West does not have, because he has gone for the Canyon SRAM Riders colorway, which for some reason does not have a normal cockpit. Don't ask me why. Tonight, I'm drinking a pint of a Waldmeister. It's very popular amongst German children, which sounds very wrong when I say it that way, but it's delicious. It tastes like boiled sweets. I forget what the English word is. Once you've been living in Germany for so long, you end up forgetting what the actual words are. And I totally missed Ollie Jones getting his second Com jersey of the evening, which is just showing off now. You can see he's got the radio tower. He's going to swing off to the left here. And he's already on the radio tower. And yeah, he's still got 40 seconds. These guys just coming up to the line here. And again, there's no incentive really for Alex West and Lino Vyasin to kind of pull these guys over. Although saying that, they are going to be on this radio tower section, and there really is not a lot of drafting going on because the gradient kicks up to, I think it goes all the way up to 20%. Correct me if I'm wrong. But at this point, whether it's 18% or 20%, it really doesn't matter when you're having to struggle up there. The worst bit about doing the radio tower is the fact that your avatar looks like it is going painfully slow. Even in real life, when you're going up a super steep climb, you might be going really slow, but you can feel the bike moving underneath you, but you do not get that same sensation on Zwift, and it's really off-putting. Mikey Mottram here, jumping straight to the front. I think we'll see him slow up pretty quickly, though, just because that is the effect when you do hit this climb. Lino knows this climb very well, and you're already seeing some orange numbers from him. Wow, look at that gap. The chase group behind has actually done an incredible job. It's still only about 14 seconds or so. And I think if they can all make it up together, they're going to have, as I said before, the numerical advantage to bridge over to these four. But I do know, and Lino Vyasin will pride himself on this, that he can descend the reverse side of the Epic Com incredibly fast. And you can see here, if we zoom in from the helicopter, both Lino and Alex West are the guys who are leading things out. They are pumping out the serious watts here. Ollie's already ahead. But Alex, come on, guys. Bridge across. This is where we predicted it was all going to string out. And there is definitely a bit of internal team competition between these guys. And Lino will know now. He'll be looking at the gap to his teammate Ollie Jones. And he'll be thinking, I don't want him to have that massive gap. And to be honest, this is the perfect point where you can put in a bit of an attack, and you're not going to pull anybody else up there with you. So he timed it perfectly here. Let's just jump into third-person view, so we can see Ollie Jones is just up there in the distance. So he hasn't made his way back down yet. So great to see. They're both doing roughly the same watt per kilos up here. So the gap's probably going to hold. What's going to be interesting, though, is to see whether they're actually chatting to one another on Discord. Now, that rock's levitating, just FYI. Yeah. I've never spotted that before. Normally because I'm suffering when I'm coming up here. Yeah, I wonder if they'll be talking to each other on Discord. So as a team, they're always using Discord in all of the programs, in any other race that they do, where the whole team's there. So I wonder if they're talking to one another. Probably. when they're pumping out these kind of watts, they're not going to be saying that much. But for sure, when Ollie's on the descent, if they are on Discord, then they will be chatting. The gap is coming down though. It's less than 30 seconds now. So Lino has closed the gap by about 5 seconds. Not going to be enough to kind of stop or to bridge over to Ollie before he's on the descent. So that gap is going to go out. As Ollie now will be time trialing, pumping out the power. He's not quite on the flatter section yet, so it's down to 26 seconds, but he's got a big gap. Adam Coach with another question. Whilst they do race, Ollie races on the road. Lino is more into his cyclocross and mountain biking. But otherwise e-racing. Westy, he's also now focused predominantly on e-racing. But some of the other riders, they do race for teams on the road. And by the fact that we just focus on e-racing, so here is Ollie Jones. He's on the Aerotuck and he's going to be passing some of his fellow riders there. So getting a bit of recovery. Anyway, so being a e-racing team, it means that we can kind of say, yes, go race for your team in real life. And then in the winter months, you can race for our team, and it works pretty well that way. I think at some point we'd like to expand and have a real life racing setup, but for the time being, to make things as easy and smooth as possible, and whilst this is we're only in our second year of existence, it made sense to just stick to the e-racing. At some point, we do plan to have a training camp, whether in the current climate it's something that we can do with just the main squads, whether we can bring the development riders as well. It's honestly very difficult to say. At the moment we have nothing planned because of all of the difficulties around the due to COVID. So yeah, but I think what we are going to aim to do or try to do is obviously build on what we've done. Obviously, we had the men's squad, we had the women's squad, and now we'll be adding an extra 20 riders into the development squad. That's a huge step for us. I mean, that's more than doubling the amount of riders we have in total. So that is a huge step for us already. So we're going to focus on getting that right. And then after that, we want to try and look at how do we then help grow talent from the junior divisions up to the upper levels, and then how do we tie into real life racing teams. So I think there's potential for us to work with some of the other teams that we know who race on the road. But yeah, for the time being, just e-racing, and there is a lot to do and still to be won in the e-racing scene. And for us, we're enjoying kind of just trying new things. We're doing everything we've done pretty much hasn't been done before, and I think that's super exciting. I think going and doing a real life racing team is pretty much doing what's already been done. So we're not going to jump into just kind of replicating what a traditional cycling team has done. Yeah, anyway, another good question, Adam Coach. But as you can see, the gap now between Ollie Jones and Lino Vyasin has come down now to 20 seconds. So Lino's doing a pretty good job here. The problem for Lino here is he's going to absolutely smash it up this section. Continue. There you go. He's nearly just shy of 1,000 watts. He's going to hammer it over this. Keep up the speed. He's doing 11 watts per kilo. And that's exactly how you have to hit this little section here. And you see, just made up 1 second. So Ollie Jones still going downhill. Lino Vyasin going uphill, and he's made up a second. Ollie also utilizing the Aerotuck, but it's going to be a long way to go riding solo. But he's got that gap now. So is Lino going to have more in his legs in the end? Let's jump back and see where the other riders are. So, Mikey, you've got to be hitting this a little bit harder. That's where Westy's going to catch him now. That'll be good, though. If those guys can work together, then it's got some potential. I mean, they've got 2 riders back here. They've got Thrall. Oh, he's just getting over there. And then we have Kaminsky from the Misfits, who we haven't seen a lot of tonight. But I'm sure that is... he seems like he's got a lot of fans in the chat. So let's just stick on him for a minute. He's going to bridge over to Thrall here. Both of them adopting the arrow tuck. So they know what they're doing on this section. And they've got a good gap. But are they going to be able to work together and make it over to West and Mottram? I mean, it's down to 8 seconds. So there's a really good chance that they can. And Kaminsky here, he's definitely getting the benefit of having Thrall in front of him. Not that it matters because they're both doing 0 watts at the moment. They're going to have to start turning the pedals soon though, because there's a little section where it pitches back up again. Really, you want to sprint over that. And you can get yourself a chance to bridge over to Mottram and West. I mean, if there are 4 of them together, they could do a job. They could definitely bridge over to Lino Vyasin. Because they have the numerical advantage. I hate saying numerical advantage. I don't know if anybody ever watches Welsh rugby. It's probably just me. I'm sure the Venn diagram between rugby fans and Zwift fans is quite small. There's not much overlap. However, all they talk about is physicality, and it's one of those really annoying things. Well, there you go. Numerical advantage has become the physicality. Kaminsky, come on. Get some orange numbers, bridge over to Thrall. You guys have got to work together now. That's it. He's out of the saddle. He knows that he's got to get on the wheel here with Thrall. He might do it, but Thrall also needs to be sensible. I mean, if he wants to be able to bridge over to Westy and Mikey Mottram here, he's going to probably need Kaminsky to help him because they will travel together if there's 2 of them. Is that John Mould typing in Twitch himself? Team Moldy bringing it back together. John Mould, where is John Mould? This is the question we've all been asking. Well, if you're wondering where John Mould is, he's on Twitch. Is he on Discord? That's the question. Okay, well, there's a 2-second gap now between Thrall and Kaminsky. And, yeah, it's, again, if I was Thrall, I would wait up for him, but I don't think he wants to. The problem is they're putting out pretty much the same watt per kilos here, so it makes no sense for there to be a gap, you know, from a tactical standpoint. So, Thrall, if you're listening, you know, it's probably worth waiting up because the gap is still holding back to Western Mottram. They're still got, looks like 10 seconds now. And they're still on the descent here, so they're going to be on the flat very soon. Lino Vyasin's now, whoa, he's got to feel like that gap. He did have it down to 20 seconds down to Ollie Jones. Ollie is holding pretty steady power, and that gap's not coming down now. He's lost, it was originally 24 seconds, and it went down to 19 seconds. He brought 5 seconds back, but he's lost it again, unfortunately. But these guys, they're stuck out there. They've just got to do a solo time trial now. John Mould confirming that he is watching from the broom wagon. The word broom wagon has been ruined for me now because of my friend, his podcast, and he refers to it only as a broom wagon. If you're into podcasts about cycling, check it out. It's on Spotify. The Broom Wagon, or otherwise the Broom Wagon. Definitely worth having a listening to. Loads of interesting interviews with people. Oh, I didn't plan to say it that way. I am on it twice, I think. If you really want to listen to me whittle on about bike packing and e-racing. There's one about e-racing from quite a while ago, from nearly 2 years ago. Oh, is that true? Maybe it's about a year ago. And then there's another one from about 2 years ago where I talk about bike packing. Anyway, not just me. There's more interesting people. So, some predictions coming in. And Thrall is going for solo victory. He's going to have to do the ride of his life if he's going to get a victory here. But his watts have dropped down. He's now below. He's doing 5 watts per kilo. Kaminsky, if he can hold this power, he is going to bridge across. If I was Kaminsky, I would bridge across to Thrall, and then I would just sit on his wheel, because I'd be quite annoyed that he didn't wait up for me. That's typical racing tactics. Just sit on his wheel and just sit in his draft, and Thrall will be there throwing the elbow and saying, "Come on, pull through," and you'll be there going, "No way, you made me fucking do a massive dig to get over to you." But his watts, yeah, they dip down, so it's 5 seconds. So come on, Kaminsky, I'm pretty sure you can do it. Behind him, well, here we go. So Moldy was saying that I want to know, is it Cummings? The problem is Dominic Cummings has ruined the name Cummings for everyone. If I was, I would be pronouncing the surname as Cuming, but it's a little bit Mrs. Bouquet, isn't it? Anyway, Cuming and Ali Slater here, both from the Moldy squad, the Moldy Midnight Madness, working well together, and they have got a misfit with them. So they have got Drico here. And absolutely, Drico, you should just sit in their wheels and let these guys pull you to the finishing line. There are points for the top 10 only. Yeah, Moldy's saying it's Cuming. I know there's no S, but is it Cuming or Cumming? And does he pronounce it differently now, thanks to Dominic? This is the question. These are the important conversations we are tackling in Twitch. So it's down to 3 seconds now. So this is the race within the race, and there's a lot of fans here for Kaminsky. True, John Mole pointing out. But if these guys can hold it, they're going to be putting themselves on the leaderboards. This will be their first points, which is awesome to see. Super pleased, because then it adds a little bit more competition. What is that? That looks like a roof of a building. Is that Atlantis? Oh, it's a boat. Close enough. It's a home for fish. John Mulder's confirmed it is Cuming. Come on, Kaminsky, you can do it. You're nearly there. Don't look at these time gaps on my screen. They are completely wrong. Mottram and West still working well together by the looks of it. We haven't really been paying much attention to them, but it'd be interesting to know whether they've actually been doing any turns. It's very unlikely at this point, though, that they are going to be able to bridge over to Leon Viasin and Ollie Jones, who's still holding that gap, which is super impressive. The watts look like coming down a little bit. That's not surprising. Ollie Jones has been out. I mean, he attacked at the beginning of the Epic Com, and he's managed to hold it all the way. But Ollie Jones knows this climb really well. I don't know if you were watching the Off the Map tour, but Ollie and Jay Vine smashed it up that climb and dropped everyone. And they both went away all the way to the finish line. And yeah, he's done exactly the same thing again. He's got that muscle memory, and the gap has gone out to 27 seconds now to his teammate, Lionel Viasin. Lionel's not going to be liking that. Again, there's a little bit of a friendly competition inside the team. Of course, they'll be happy for one another whenever they do win, but everyone wants to get the W. But it is a team competition, so to get first and second place is pretty cool. You can just see the beacon. That's me. I'm not moving. But I was there. If you weren't here at the very beginning, I did the neutralized start for the first kilometer. So because we're using a meetup, the meetup platform to do the races, everyone starts at different positions. So to make it fair, we do a neutralized start so that everyone can start at the same pace. And so far, so good. It works quite nicely. It was a concept which I'd planned before in the past. Actually, we were going to do an event with, well, not the Canyon team, but myself. We were going to do a race with Movistar in the lockdown. And we were going to use this same concept. So Ollie's going to swing past me here. As you can see, I'm actually in the lead according to this. I'm not. There you go. He's gone past me. So that's where I finished. Past the rubber ducky. Past the hot tub. Time machine. No, it's not. It's a natural spring. Nothing natural about Zwift. Again, the gap's really gone out now. It's 28 seconds. I think Lionel knows at this point that he's not going to be able to bridge over to Ollie. Because that is a huge gap to try and overcome now. Let's jump back. Mikey and Alex still working well together. I don't think they're gonna. I mean, I don't know if these time gaps are correct. I presume they're roughly correct. They're not 100% accurate. But if that's true, if that's 40 seconds, I don't think these guys are going to bring it back either. But they have worked really well together. If we jump back a little bit further through, again, Kaminsky not quite closing the gap here. But he had to do a massive dig to try and to even close it to 2 seconds. It was about 6 seconds. So cracking ride. I'd love to just see him put in that extra dig and just sit on Thrall's wheel if he can. Let's just see where Ollie is up to. He has not got much further to go. He's got about 2 kilometers to go until the finish line. There's a couple of chats coming in. Freddie Vella asks, is there a chase race tomorrow? No, there is not a chase race tomorrow. That was a one-off event. For sure, the Canyon guys would absolutely kill me if I was making them do chase races every week. They absolutely killed themselves to close that 2-minute gap. And they were very annoyed to just not get the win just right at the end. So it was almost perfectly timed, but they really did kill themselves. So we'd love to do some more of those kind of race formats. Probably with a smaller time gap. But we would probably try and do those with an actual, a proper racing event. It's quite difficult to do in a meetup. Anyway, if you want a chase race, then on Thursday, you've got the Chop. It's an open chase race. Is it the Chop? I think it's still called the Chop. Anyway, in the morning, that is an excellent chase race. We have Kaminsky on the team radio, and he's not happy about Thrall not pulling at all. I do not blame him. Just go back to this mini saga. Yeah, look at that. Thrall, you're too mean. There are some Kaminsky fans in the chat here. And he's not making any friends. Oh, it looks like Alex West has dropped Mikey Mottram now. Oh. A Canyon going to do the 1, 2, 3. Let's jump to Ollie Jones. He hasn't got much more to go. He's got less than a kilometer left. We're not going to quite be able to see the finish line here. But you'll see on the side of the screen, you'll be able to see who is going to come over the line first, because his color will actually change. So it'll go from green, I think, to blue, and then to grey when he comes over the line. So we're not going to see it. Not going to see it. You're not going to see a finish line, but what you are going to see is that his color here is going to change. So any second now, his finish line is going to end. So again, it's funny how Zwift calculates these things, because oh no, he's got a little bit more. Sorry. It's actually 39. I got too excited. So it's the full length is 39. I think it's going to go a little bit over the top. So anyway, we're going to watch Ollie Jones as he finishes up. Get a little view from the helicopter. Here he is. So he's got 600 meters to go here. Question is he going to do a sprint? Is he going to finish it in style? I mean, he's doing 6.8 watts per kilo. He doesn't have to. He's got a massive lead here. Last 500 meters for him. He's still pumping out the watts. He wants to finish on a high here. Obviously, because of COVID-19, there are no fans on the side of the road, so it's completely silent. It's a little bit strange. Normally, this climb would be packed full of avatars, screaming their heads off, drinking copious amounts of virtual beer, but not tonight. It's a very different world that we're living in. They're all at home playing Sims. Super meta. And he's coming over the finish line. The finish line being a little bit earlier than expected. And we got Lionel Viasin here, still in it. Lionel is going to cross the finish line any second now. He's just setting up. Rolling it in. Let's jump back so we know that's a done deal. Alex West, he's got 10 seconds back to Mikey Mottram. So, Canyon doing the 1, 2, 3. Very impressive. Again, just a note to everybody. Alex West has terrible choice in music. I just want the world to know that. Let's jump back. Mikey Mottram, he can just see Westy off in the future. If he's got a sprint, he might be able to just do him, but I don't think he is. You can see the gap there. It's Westy's over the finish line. Froome here. His legs aren't turning very quickly here. Is he churning a massive gear? Kaminsky. Oh, come on. He's got it. Your fans are in the chat. Come on, this. His coach has got to be screaming at him here to try and just get it at the last minute. Oh, he's doing 7 watts per kilo. Is he going to be able to do it? I'm not sure if he is. I don't think Froole's over the line now. Slater's putting in a dig here. Dricko's he's got 2 seconds on Dreco by the looks of things. Oh, look, here's the aerial shot. It doesn't look like... Oh, Dricko, is he going to come around him? Ali Slater's going to have to... Ali Slater's done it. Dricko comes over in 7th. Cummings there. Cuming, sorry. Oh, he's going to kill me. And it's going to be Patrick Valor. Or Waller, perhaps. Again, been in Germany too long. The Germans would say Valor. Maybe he says Waller. And then teammate Collard is going to come over in 10th. Oh, and it's a sprint here with McQueen and Joey Walker. Just doing McQueen on the line. And if we jump back, just some of the... We'll just watch these guys rolling over. Chris McGlinchley, who was very sprightly at the beginning of the race. Just rolling in. He's going to finish outside the top 10. But so there's no points left on offer. It's only the top 10 riders which actually collect any points. Hansen here does not care. I'm glad to see they're still fighting for it. And seeing the orange numbers here, Hansen's like, no, McGlinchley. They are fighting for pride now. McGlinchley, didn't want to go straight past him. He's going to sit on his wheel and there's going to be a final sprint. Who's going to win out of these two? It's going to be interesting to see. They're not far. They've just got 200 meters left to go. McGlinchley's going. Hansen's also going. Is he going to be able to come round him? Whoa! Oh, it's going to be a close finish. Oh, Hansen just can't come round him. All right. Yes, McGlinchley taking that one. Let's jump back. Okay, here's the last guys. Here's Ethan. We hadn't actually talked about Ethan this this whole race. He did very well in the chase race. Oh, and Falk and Simons, both of them refusing to let the young man come over in front of him. Charlie also not having quite as good a race as he had in the chase race. It's interesting to see a lot of the guys who we thought were going to do pretty well not doing as well as we know they can do. Maybe he had a tech problem. Maybe he just wasn't feeling it tonight. Hard to say. Anyway, Charlie, we've seen him in racing days. Super strong. Let's give him some kudos as he comes over. So, for those of you still tuned in, I'll just quickly tell you. Let's jump back. Let's give some kudos to Delu. Let's just jump back to Odd. Rostadt. We can watch you roll in. Get a bit of TV time while I just go through what the top 10 was. So bear with me 1 second. Just shut up. So, top 10 tonight. And we'll publish the results on Instagram. Maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow's my birthday, so I'm not really up for doing any work. So maybe not tomorrow. I might not do the results until Thursday. So anyway, first place went to Ollie Jones. Second to Lionel Viasin. Third to Alex West. Fourth to Thrall. Fifth place to Kaminsky. So Thrall and Kaminsky with the race within a race. That was super interesting to see. Super strong ride from Kaminsky, who was riding for the Misfits. He was the highest place Canyon Misfit on the day. Sixth was Ali Slater. Drico, also from the Misfits, came in seventh. Cumin from Moldy's Midnight Madness over in eighth. Patrick Valor, sorry, I'm sticking with the German pronunciation, from Evok in 9, and then Collard in 10. So we will have, we'll publish all of those results. It will be really interesting to see how the table now stands after today's results. Canyon will still be in the lead, but let's see how things are shaken up. Congratulations, John Mould and Moldy's Midnight Madness for getting some points on the board. Super pleased to see that. It keeps things interesting. And there are 2 more rounds left to go in this series. So there's still a lot to play for. So thanks a lot for everyone who tuned in. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Freddie, for the birthday well wishes. Appreciate that. We'll be back again next Tuesday. Was that a giant squirrel? Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, we'll be back again next week. Same time, same place. So it's every Tuesday, 8 p.m. CET. There's 2 more rounds. And let's see how the guys get on then. We'll also be, the Canyon team will also be racing in the upcoming Zwift qualifier races. So you will see some of our guys, well, both the men's and the women's team racing in the upcoming Pro-Am qualifiers, which we'll publish and announce the dates. If you don't know them, we'll publish those on our Instagram. Otherwise, yeah, we'll be back here on Tuesday. And I think that we've come this far now. We've got to see Odd over the line. Valiant ride by him. Where is this helicopter view? What is that? Questionable camera tactics here. So, if you have any more questions that you have about this, then throw it in. I'm also going to turn up the music a little bit, just while we have Odd come over. He's on the climb proper now. And I am going to say goodbye and good night. And I'm going to just let the music play whilst Odd comes over the finish line. And I wish you all a good night. Thanks a lot for watching. There we go, Odds over the line. Well done, Mr. Rostock. Alright, that's it. We are out. It's good with the music. I feel like I'm doing a pirate radio show, which, to be honest, is probably what I should be doing. Again, I already said goodnight, but I'm going to say goodnight once again. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next week.